Welcome to Field Sports Britain. Coming up, we're making a shooter's invisibility cloak. Either that or we're witnessing Chewbacca's more feminine side. We have the regulars. We have Hello Charlie, some of it lost in translation. We have Hunting YouTube. We have news stuff. First, some follow. Others give it some lead. Lead. Get it? It's Crowhow. It's all systems crow. With the peas in the ground and leftover maize on top of it, there's a chance for Andy to stretch his barrels and try his luck on some pigeons. The trouble is, when there are 200 acres of food for them to dine on, trying to focus them over a 2-metre wide hide is an issue. So we call in some explosive assistance.
A lot of pigeons feeding here at the moment. They're feeding on the maize cover crops. They've got 200 acres of peas here as well. But what they're doing, they're on the maize and they're going onto the peas. We're going to go on a pea field up the other end. I just put a couple of 3 strings of bangers out just to keep them moving, really. It could have done with a few more people, but no one's about. But what I will say, if you're putting bangers up, especially as the summer's coming, make sure there's a lot of greenery, because the last thing you want is the bangers falling down and setting alight to the field.
You have to be careful with bangers. Not only are they a fire hazard, they can also go out, which is a pain. So how long will they be helping us out?
1, 2, 3, 4. But it's a bit breezy here, so I'll put it back in the wood a bit, behind a bit of a tree trunk, so it will last a bit longer. It's probably about 4.5, 5 hours on that one. Let's get on, David.
As we drive back to the spot where he wants the hide, we kick up some birds feasting on the drillings. It's promising, but all Andy can do is optimise our chances, which is why he's picked a spot where they've been clearing up the maize left over from the cover crop.
10 days ago this was yellow with maize. They've cleared it all up. Go along there about 15, 20 yards just round the corner and it's still yellow. And they've just done the ones by the trees here, but they're working their way along now. So, but the reason we're shooting here on this maize, we've got a field of peas here just beyond it. And what they've been doing, they've been feeding on the maize and then going on to the peas. And where we were just a minute, we was coming up where we put a banger over the back there. There's another lump of peas over there. But there's only me today, so I've got to try and do the best I can on my own.
The first signs of yellow are quite a few yards away from the hide, but there are no trees there. We are under trees, which will provide sanctuary before and after the woodies have fed. As Andy sets up the pattern, he offers a couple of kit tips.
I always put the batches from my whirly, I always stick them in a box, because these are not dry cell. I have got some dry cell in here, but I don't like running out of power, so I always bring a lot of batches along. I've got a couple of tractor batches in here. Don't have them bouncing about in the back of the truck, because if any acid is spilt, it don't go anywhere apart from in the back of here.
Andy is looking a bit buff today. Yes, I know, he always looks buff, but this time he's gone all Gulf War. His jacket is buff and his camo netting is the sandy type, reflecting the maize stubbles.
I like to use a bit of sand if we're using, or sandy colour if we're using them stubbles and that. So.
Andy is adding to his A1 decoy setup with real birds from the freezer, and he's also been offered something to breathe new life into his antique decoys.
Old decoy, all dirty, a bit messy. Put a sock over the top, just to give them a try today, see how they go. They might show up a bit better on these, on the stubble here.
A decoy sock from Ringer Originals transforms it. Who's a pretty boy then? Right, to the bat cave. Sorry, Crowhide. Andy is still giving the Lincoln a hard time, and it's served him well over the last 12 months on game days, clay shoots, and when the pigeons have been in town.
Still not feeding them, Andy?
No, nothing in their crops at all. End of the day, and nothing in that at all. Lovely bird. No, I was expecting Well, they haven't been shot at through the winter. Because no one's been able to get near them because they've been on acorns. I was expecting them to decoy really well, but been proven wrong.
After a couple of hours, Crow fills out the pattern and moves the whirly out.
The pigeons seem to be going low behind us, and they're not quite seeing the whirly. I kept it in close to try and draw them in. So what I've done, I've moved it up the hill. Hopefully they'll see the whirly and it'll draw them in a bit more. Well, that's the plan.
How many birds and decoys has he now got sitting in the maze? David counts 36.
There's probably 35, 40 out there, I think. A couple of whirlies. But we're getting a bit of colour there now. Got a few real ones out there.
It's not until 10 to 6 that we have our first bird of the day with something in its crop.
About 2:45 we got set up. That's the first bird we shot all day. It's just before 6, and that's the first time we shot all day with anything in its crop. It's only got about 8 or 10 grains of maize. That's all it's got. They've had a good winter. They haven't had to feed on the rape, which goes straight through them. So at least they've been on this high protein stuff. It keeps the weight on them a bit. I dare say David will nick a load of these to feed the kids. At least they'll be able to eat tonight when he gets home.
Andy has had to work hard and shoot well for his bag of just over 50, but it's great to be out again.
Slow day, seen a lot of pigeons, but I got about what I thought I was going to get. I was hoping to get between 40 and 50. 60 would have been a bonus. We've got 54 here, which is quite nice. Saw a lot of pigeons, and they didn't really come back to here. They were over in the middle of the shoot, but my aim today was to keep them off these peas, and I've done that. So yeah, it's been good fun.
Before he packs up, he promises to do a shout out to a fitness fanatic of his.
Mick Templin, he does Zumba and bunny hop dancing. He does that on a Monday, Wednesday and a Saturday morning. But yes, hi Mike, and keep up the Zumba.
Let's hope this marks the start of a good year's pigeon shooting. Great stuff, Andy, thank you. And I do recommend you have a look at some of his Chromo slow-mo at how shot intercepts the birds. Now, somebody else who used to intercept birds but prefers to follow them at a discreet distance these days, it's David on the Field Sports Channel News Stump.
This is Field Sports Channel News. The USA has banned elephants. The US Fish and Wildlife Service has suspended imports of sport-hunted African elephant trophies from Zimbabwe and Tanzania. It alleges questionable management practices. Zimbabwe's elephant quota stands at about 500 animals each season, which are exported mainly by US citizens. The UK government is defending the badger cull on YouTube. It's put out a public information film designed to show how bovine TV spreads and what a serious threat it is to farming. An anti-hunt campaigner has appeared before magistrates after admitting making abusive phone calls to a master of foxhounds. Michael John Wheeldon of Keynes Cross left messages on master of the Llandilo farmer's hunt, Colin Evans' phone, saying he planned to hunt him with a vengeance and rip his head off. Wheeldon also made 5 calls to Mr Evans' 71-year-old mother, Enid. The closure of Y College, which merged with Imperial College, has ended a hunting tradition. The Y Beagles has held its last ever meet. Past hunt staff, college students and committee members, together with farmers, landowners, members and supporters came to the meet from all over the country. The pack used to be part of the college. The RSPB has put up a £5,000 reward for any information which leads to the arrest of a person they suspect of poisoning birds of prey. 4 buzzards and 12 red kites have been found in the last 2 weeks near Connon Bridge in the Scottish Highlands. The Lucky Launcher has landed in the UK. So do you need to keep your gun dog in training? Well, the Lucky Launcher 2 makes the sound of a shot and sends a dummy flying. It costs £165 and can be found in local stockists via bisley-uk.com. An Australian shooting organisation is scaring local wildlife groups by setting up its own koala bear sanctuary. Queensland's Sporting Shooters Association of Australia is turning a parcel of its land into a refuge for koalas, creating the biggest koala habitat in the state. More than 100,000 trees will be planted to establish the area. And finally, on last week's Airhead show, we brought you the story of Ratzilla, the 16-inch rat without the tail that was found in a Swedish home. This week, a family in Ireland has told newspapers of their horror after a 24-inch rat, the size of a cat, was found in their attic. Pest controller Marcus Giusti removed the Rattus hugus and warned of an invasion of monster-sized rats after changes to EU laws, which limit the use of poisons to control them. You are now up to date with Field Sports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for fact.
Thank you, David. Now, normally we bring you what you lot have been up to from all over the world apart from China. Well, not this week. It is Ni Hao, Charlie. We will get to Hello Charlie in English in a mo. First, a quick word about China. Here is our man in Ningbo appealing for the Chinese to send in Hello Charlies. I will need to tell you what's going on. Hunting and guns were banned in China in 1949, though it and they are tolerated in some regions. So, Liu Qi, which is Field Sports Channel in Chinese, because we are almost as popular in China as we are in the rest of the world, appeals to a wide range of people, not just shooters. This is Shadow. She is from Beijing. The piece of paper says, "Hello Charlie. I'm so touched. Hello Shadow."
你好 Charlie, hello.
This is Helen from Hengyang City in Hunan Province, more than 1,000 miles from Beijing. She has an outdoors sports club called Good Luck, which has 3,000 fans and holds weekly activities including hiking, fishing and this, jumping off Chinese hills.
你好 Charlie.
Hello Helen.
Wow!
OK, let's get back to the Brits.
Hello Charlie, this is Eddie. And this is Simon. We're at Kent Clays today and we're smashing the clays.
Hello Charlie, it's Mac here. There's some crows, not many about. Can you see me now?
Hello Charlie, it's Paul down in Bedford this time, out with Les Brooks, and we started with something just a little bit different. Nice little moon jack.
Charlie, Mr. Fermanaman here again. New gun this time, got the Hatsan Escort Magnum and just out doing a bit of pest control on some farmland. Hope you're having a good one. Take care.
Bye Charlie.
Send us your own Hello Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hello Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you. Please keep them coming from wherever you are. Now, last week we made your rifle disappear. This week we're going to concentrate on you using top sniper tips. Watch this. Pretty good, isn't it? Hunting requires stealth. The closer you are to your quarry, the more likely you are to spook it. Well, Dave Rofe, our friendly wizard in the cloak Invisible, has a few tips to make sure you have the upper hand. Selecting your location is the first task.
Until I've got my location, it's going to be very hard for me to identify what sort of foliage I'm going to need to select to place onto the ghillie suit. I quite often just lay the ghillie suit where I plan to sit and then apply the foliage, step back, look at it from a distance, look at it from a variety of different angles. I also aim to try and sit in the shadows. That helps because by being in the shadow also acts as a form of camouflage.
So we need to collect our foliage from the area immediately surrounding our hunting spot. Here's a little trick to help, just in case you've forgotten to bring the secateurs.
Take your blade, minding you don't put your fingers over, you take the end of your fingers off, keep your hands open, just close the blade, perfect secateur.
Dave has a word of caution. Be careful where you take your clippings from, as you can easily give the game away.
If you snap it off at the end, you end up with a very white, clear area. And if you're trying to hide from man, that is the sort of thing that will give you away. In a situation like that, you'd select your foliage from deep within the bush. The tree would recover, but you're not leaving a dead end in view. But these are ideal camouflage. The benefits of a stalker cape opposed to a full ghillie suit when you're going into bramble and bracken is that your legs aren't going to snag up on it. If I had all of this garnishing all over my body, I would literally be walking through a field of Velcro.
At the risk of sounding like an episode of Gardener's World, another thing is to keep your camo fresh. Wilting is not an option. Back to Monty Don.
The nicest material to use for camouflage is actually ferns. However, for every good thing there's a bad thing. The downside is being the fact that it's a herbaceous plant and it's primarily all water. Within half an hour it's all saggy, loose and floppy, and it just really does not look good when you're in this lovely lush green environment and you're the wilting daisy. It's very easy for people to try to be neat and tidy, and there is no neat and tidy in nature. It's very random, and if you can get your mind into a random state, then it makes this job much easier. As you can see, what I've done there is I've just tucked that broken stem into the netting. The hessian itself will lay over the top of that, hiding that broken stem, and there's my veil.
Once you look the part, you have to act the part too. Attracting attention by scratching and twitching is not an option. Movement is your enemy.
The primary aspect is breaking up your shape and also making sure that your movement is slow and purposeful. Most people, the eye is attracted to sudden movement. If you take a look at nature and you watch it long enough, you'll actually realise that most animals move in slow motion. Although the birds seem to flit backwards and forwards quite quickly, they do so and stop, and then they pause. And we need to do the same thing. We need to get into the zone. We need to be able to get into an environment and then slow our minds down. We need to hone our ears in, hone our eyes in. But it is about us taking presence of the environment that we're in.
So there you are. With a bit of thought, preparation and weaving, you too can give yourself the best possible shooting opportunities. If you want to learn more about bushcraft, fieldcraft, survival, or maybe go on one of his sniper courses, check out Dave's website, woodoak.co.uk. See you there, or if you're that good, maybe I won't. From being discreet to broadcasting to the world, it is the world of hunting and shooting on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Howard Halliday watches Field Sports Britain from the other side of the world, where he makes videos too. Here's Billy the Hunting Spaniel Part 1 doing what Billy does best. Thank you, Howard, for sending him in. Viewer Jeff Pickford likes solo 5-day hunting and bushcraft. It is, he says, superb, a really well-made video. MCQ Bushcraft has pushed the boat out with a 75-minute epic about surviving outdoors with a gun as your prop and guide. In similar vein, but a few degrees of latitude north, Peter Tjonevig asks me to take a look at this amazing filmmaker. Joe Vargan is grouse shooting in Norway. Google Translate is not far off when it promises the film contains a stretch, large herds, magical moments, bloopers, and grouse fall in perfect harmony. Now to Ireland for Pigeon and Crow Shooting Part 11. 3 young members of the marvellous Rath Cormac and Watergrass Hill Gun Club are out doing a spot of crop protection. Mauser has a teaser. Warthog hunting in Namibia is a short film designed to make you salivate for the longer version, but no clues as to when the full-length Boars in the Dust film will come out. Still, fans of the Mauser M03 will see it in proper use. Now a couple of big-hitting YouTube channels from the USA. The Hunting Grounds Guy brings out Deer Hunting 2013 action-packed hunting video teaser. Happily, there is more action than tease, and the Hunting Grounds Guy promises it's going to make an impact on the world. Jerry Michalek is a hot new property on YouTube. He is a bit like FPS Russia, only American. In this film, he offers 50 cal armour-piercing incendiary rounds in slow-mo. What a fabulous ballistics mashup. And finally, this is how the British talk about rifles. Alistair Phillips from the William Evans Gunroom reviews a William Evans rifle. Built for a deer stalker, it has all the high-performance engineering and finely tuned finishing processes you would expect from a rifle with a sporting St James's pedigree, and no frightful explosions. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you are missing the fishing films and the airgun films, watch our new shows, Airheads and Fishing Britain. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Now, if you don't fancy any of that lot, have a look at some of our shows. In Airheads, James is using crows as lab rats in a bait test. And in this week's Fishing Britain, we're north of the border. You can click on the links on the screen to watch both Airheads and Fishing Britain. Airheads goes out 7 PM every other Thursday, Fishing Britain 7 PM every Friday. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button that's somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our webpage, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. This has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.